Welcome, Wildcats. Today we're going to look at your homework assignment for 4.9's HRW, multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Today, though, we have a little computational help from our friend R2D2, and hopefully we don't lose him as we make this run through the Death Star of all homework assignments. Let's get started. Alright, so multiplying and dividing rational expressions. So basically fractions that we're multiplying and dividing. Our first problem here, x over x, 4x minus 12 times x minus 3 over x plus 7. So let's go ahead and go to the document camera, and we will take a look at the easiest way to get through this problem. As we talked about during our notes, first thing we want to do is we want to factor out all four of these. So x is already as fully factored as it gets. 4x and negative 12 share a 4, so we can pull a 4 out. That leaves us with x minus 3, because 4x divided by 4 is x, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. On the right, x and negative 3 don't share anything. X and 7 don't share anything. So it looks like what we're going to have is this x minus 3 is going to cancel with this x minus 3 because they're on opposite sides, top to bottom. And then when we multiply straight across, we're going to get x equals 1. Sorry, x, not x equals, it's just going to be x times 1, which is x, over, looks like we're going to have 4 times x plus 7. So we have x over 4 times x plus 7. So fraction x over 4x plus 7. Okay, got that typed in. I know you guys can't see that. But the next question is the excluded values. Don't forget, in order to figure that out, you have to start at the top. So both x minus 3 equals 0, and x plus 7 equals 0. That gives us x equals 3, and x equals negative 7. That's a 7. So, this is our answer. These are our excluded values. So, we have negative 7, and we have Alright, next problem. Same basic question. Go to the document camera, we've got 3x squared plus 15x over 4 times 8x over 8x over x plus 5. 3x squared plus 15x, factoring that out, I see that they both are multiples of 3, so I can factor the 3 out, but they're also multiples of x, so I can actually factor 3x out. 3x squared divided by 3x, 3 divided by 3 is 1, x squared divided by x leaves me with just 1x, which, as you guys know, we can just write as x. And we've got 15x divided by 3x. 15 divided by 3 is 5. X divided by x is 1, so we just have 5. Over 4 times 8x. Since there's only one term here, nothing cancels out. And x plus 5 on the bottom. And once again, our next step is to cancel anything that we share top to bottom, so x plus 5, x plus 5. However, remember when you have constants, in this case 8 and 4, that share multiples of each other, in this case they're both multiples of 4, you can divide by whatever they share. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 1 is 2. Multiply across, 3 times 2 is 6, x times x is x squared. Multiply across, 1 times 1 is 1. So in all reality, we're left with just 6x squared. So do note that just because you started with fractions does not mean you will end with a fraction. For our excluded value, starting back up at the top, there is no x in the denominator here, so we have x plus 5 equals 0, meaning x equals negative 5. So our only excluded value is x equals negative 5. Alright, number 3. Well, this has some big numbers, doesn't it? Alright. X squared minus x minus 30 over 16x plus 80 times 3 over x squared minus 4x minus 12. Alright, looks like we're going to have 3 excluded values, so we'll have to remember that as we get towards the end. Alright, so once again we're going to start by factoring everything. This is a trinomial, so it's going to factor into 2 binomials. Minus at the end means we're going to have 1 plus and 1 minus. Minus here means that the bigger number is going to be minus, and this is a negative 1. So I need to find factors of negative 30 that are 1 apart from each other. Well, the factors of 30 are 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 6 and 5. 6 and 5 are right next to each other. So we're going to have the bigger one is going to be negative. So 6 will be negative, 5 will be positive, leaving us with just x and x here, divided by 16 and 60. Those definitely both share at least 8. So if I pull an 8 out, I'm left with 2x plus 10. So they're actually both factors of 16. So if I pull 16 out, that gives me x plus 18 divided by, or 80 divided by 16 is actually 5. Yes. All right. Now for the other side. Finally, we have something that does not factor. It's just a 3 over x squared minus 4x minus 12. So once again, trinomial factors into a pair of binomials. Minus at the end says one is plus, one is minus. And this tells me that I need the factors of 12 that are 4 apart from each other. Factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. 2 and 6 are 4 apart. This negative sign says the bigger one will be negative. So I have negative 6 and I have positive 2, x and x. Next, just like before, we're going to cancel everything that we can. X minus 5 cancels, x minus 6 cancels. Then multiplying across the top, I'm left with a 3 on top, a 16 on bottom, and an x plus 2 on bottom. 3 and 16 do not share anything, so my answer is just this. However, going back to this stage, x plus 5 equals 0, which means x equals negative 5. X plus 2 equals 0, which means x equals negative 2. And x minus 6 equals 0, which means x equals 6. So these are my 3 excluded values. Alright, so typing it in, I'm going to get my fraction here. I'm going to get my fraction here. I have 3 over 16 times x plus 2. Excluded values are negative 5, that's a positive, negative 5, negative 2, and 6. Alright, next. Alright, this tells us we're going to have 4 excluded values, so let's go ahead and work through this real quick. This might take up some extra room, so I'm going to write a little bit smaller this time. We've got x squared minus 4 over x squared plus 6x plus 8. And we've got, on the other side, sorry about that. On the other side, we've got x squared over x squared minus 2x. Alright. Pretty sure I can factor these right next to each other. So this is a difference of squares. I have x squared and 4. Both of those are perfect squares, so hopefully you guys can remember the special rule for factoring squareds. You have the first one plus the second one. The square root of x squared is x, the square root of 4 is 2, and then the square root of the first one being x minus the square root of the second one. Square root of 4 is 2. Here, once again, we have a trinomial, which is going to factor into a pair of binomials. I have addition here, which means both these signs are the same. I have addition here, which means they're both plus. I've got x and x. Factors of 8 that add together to give me 6. Well, 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So I have a 2 and a 4. I have an x squared on top. And these both share a multiple of x, so I pull an x out. X minus 2. Alright, so let's see what all cancels. X minus 2 cancels here and here. One of these x's cancels with the one on bottom, so that leaves me, this doesn't completely cancel this, it leaves me with just x. X plus 2, top and bottom cancel. So all told, I am just left with x over x plus 4. However, let's take a look at my 4 excluded values. I had x plus 2, I had x plus 4, I had x, and I had x minus 2. So each of these set equal to 0. X plus 2 becomes x equals negative 2. X plus 4 becomes x equals negative 4. X equals 0 is just x equals 0. And x minus 2 becomes x equals 2. So those are my 4 excluded values. Alright, so x over x plus 4 excluded values are negative 2, negative 4, 0, 2, except they want them ordered from least to greatest, so got to pay attention there. In that case, this would actually be negative 4, this would be negative 2, then 0, and 2. Alright, so now we're multiplying 3 things together. Won't that be fun? X squared plus 17x plus 66 over 2x times x squared minus 3x over x plus 6 times 4x minus 28 over x squared plus 4x minus 77. Alright, well, start at the beginning. X squared plus 17x minus 66. go back to the document camera. X squared plus 17x plus 66. Well, it's a trinomial, so it's going to factor into two binomials. Addition here at the end, that means they're both the same. Addition here, that means they are both plus. Factors of 66 that equal 17. Well, 66 is 6 times 11. 6 plus 11 is 17, so I have 6 and 11. And then the factors of x squared are x and x. 2x doesn't factor. X squared minus 3x, they both share an x, so pull that out. X squared divided by x is x. 3x divided by x is 3. X plus 6 does not factor. 4x and 28 share a 7. Sorry, they share a 4. 4x divided by x is x, and 28 divided by 4 is 7. Once again, we have a trinomial. This time that's going to factor into two binomials. I have minus at the end. That means one is plus, one is minus. Once again, I have just an x squared, so x and x. And the factors of 77 that are 4 apart from each other. Well, that is 7 and 11. And the bigger one is going to be positive. So 11 is positive and 7 is negative. Alright, so that gives me 2x equals 0 is one of mine, which means x equals 0. Then x plus 6 equals 0, which gives me x equals negative 6. X plus 11 equals 0, which means x equals negative 11. And x minus 7 equals 0, which means x equals 7. So these are my, in no particular order, these are my excluded values. Now let's see what cancels. X plus 6 and x plus 6 cancel, x plus 11 and x plus 11 cancel, x plus minus 7 and x minus 7 cancel, x and x cancel, 2 and 4 don't cancel, but the 2 on the bottom divides into the 2 on top to give me 2, meaning after all that I'm just left with 2 and x minus 3 on top. So these three things multiply together to give us 2 times x minus 3. Isn't that just jolly? Two times x minus 3. And excluded values, they don't ask for a specific order, so I'll just put them in the order I have them. So that's 0, negative 6, negative 11, and 7. Perfect. So there's the first 5. Uh-oh. Looking at number 6, this is once again just multiplication. It's 3-part multiplication. It is very similar to the previous one where you're going to factor everything out and then divide it all out. So I'm going to leave that one to you guys to do on your own. Number 7, we start with our division. So let's go ahead and take a look at this bad boy. We have 5x squared plus 30x over x squared plus 2x plus 1 divided by 20x plus 120 over x squared minus 1. Alright. Oops, wrong one. Document camera. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Again, first step I always do when I'm dividing fractions is I actually flip them first. So 5x squared plus 30x over x squared plus 2x plus 1 times x squared minus 1 over 20x plus 120. Now let's factor. Do keep in mind that these are the numbers. We don't want to go all the way back up to the top. These are the numbers that are going to be important when we look at our excluded values. So 5x squared plus 30x, they both share a 5, they both share an x. 5x squared divided by 5x is x. 30x divided by 5x is just 6. On bottom, trinomial factors into a pair of binomials. Addition at the end, they're both the same. Addition here, they're both plus. X and x, the factors of 1 are 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so we're good. At the top, we have x squared minus 1. Again, this is a special factoring rule. We have the difference of two squares. So you take the square root of the first, square root of x squared is x, plus the square root of the second, square root of 1 is 1, minus the square root of the second. 20x and 120, well, they share a 20, and if I factor that out, I'm left with x plus 6. So, looks like this 5 and this 20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. X plus 6, x plus 6, x plus 1, x plus 1. So I'm left with x on top, x plus 1, or x minus 1 on top, 4 on bottom, and x plus 1 on bottom. My excluded values are x plus 1. Twice, I have x plus 1 2 times. So that equals negative 1. Sorry, that equals 0, and that means x equals negative 1. But I have 2 copies of that, so I'll have to type in negative 1 twice. And then I have x plus 6 equals 0, meaning x equals negative 6. So x minus 1 twice, x minus 6, and here's my answer. Fraction x times x minus 1 divided by, oops, let's trash this, fraction x times x minus 1, then on the bottom 4 times x plus 1. Excluded values are a negative 1, a negative 1, and negative 6. Huh. Oh, whoops. No, not whoops. I see no issues with this. They didn't ask for it from least to greatest. So what am I missing? Guess let's go ahead and graph the original. X squared open 5x oh, excuse me, 5x squared plus 30x fraction open x squared plus 2x plus 1 divided by 20x plus 120 over x squared minus 1. Alright, so this suggests that that crosses 0 5 times, but it's really just the denominator that we're worried about where it hits 0. Alright, so I said negative 1. So let's go ahead and just write down the denominator, which would be x squared plus 2x plus 1. It's at negative 1, as suggested. And then the other denominator is 20x plus 120. That's at negative 6. Okay. Let's turn those off and let's try plugging in this bad boy. X minus 1. And we'll just see if I did the division wrong. 4 times x plus 1. Oops. Divided by 4x. I have done my division wrong, apparently. So let's see if we can figure out what I did here. These two things are not equivalent. So since they're not the same and the graphs don't look the same, I've actually done my division wrong. So let's see. 5x squared and 30x. Let's go back to the document camera. 5x squared and 30x becomes 5x and x plus 6. That makes sense. X squared plus 1 becomes x plus 1, x minus 1. Okay. X squared plus 2x plus 1 does become x plus 1, x plus 1, doesn't it? Yeah. And 20x plus 120 becomes 4 times, or 20 times x plus 6. There aren't any mistakes here. X plus 6 cancels with x plus 6, x plus 1 cancels with x plus 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Leaves me with x times x minus 1 in the numerator, and 4 times x plus 1 in the denominator. I'm sorry guys, I'm looking at this. I don't see any mistakes made. I don't see any mistakes at all. So I guess let's go to HRW and let's do their step-by-step and see what they say. Multiply by the reciprocal, so that's x minus 2. And, okay, so factor the numerators. We already did this. 5x, x plus 6. X plus 1. 6. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. We've got 5x, x plus 6, x plus 1, x minus 1. And then they've got 20 on the outside. Sorry guys, had something caught in my throat there. Cancel the common factors in the numerator and denominator. We did that. So then the excluded values are -1, -1, and -6. Try again. That's all that can be there. I don't understand. One sec. If you plug in -1, this all equals 0. Plug in -1, this all. You know, let's go back to Desmos and try just plugging in what they have as the denominator. So that would be 20 over x plus 1, x plus 1, x plus 6. If it caps that should be x, that should be x, that should be x. I'm really confused, guys, because Desmos is showing -1 twice and -6. So I just tried doing them in order. No, 1's not an excluded value. Where do they get 1? 1 is never in the denominator. It's just not. In fact, when we graphed it, it had a value for 1. So I'm sorry guys, I believe there is a mistake here on this problem. I do not see anywhere. The only way I could even see an argument that 1 should be there is the fact that +1 is in the denominator here. That's why it's there. So what I forgot about division was after the division sign, there's actually 3 places you need to check for zeros when you're working with division. It's here, here, and here, all 3 of them. Because if this is 0, then you're dividing by 0. Gotcha, so that's where the 1 comes from. My apologies, guys. That took way too long to figure out. Next, let's see if Mr. Atkins can do one without making such a large mistake. One that pretty easy should have made. X squared minus 12x plus 35 over x squared plus 12x plus 35 divided by x squared minus 25 over x squared minus 49. Alright. That's lots of things to factor, but luckily some of them factor pretty easily. Factors of 35 that add together to give me 12 are 5 and 7. So, factors out into 2 binomials. Addition at the end, they're both the same. Subtraction in the middle, they're both opposites. Factors of 35 that add together to give 12, we just said are 7 and 5. X and x, minus, minus, minus. This is the exact same problem, except this is a plus, so this becomes x plus 7 and x plus 5. I'm going to go ahead and flip this now, and at the same time as I flip it, I'm going to also do the factoring. So on top is going to be this. 49 and x squared are both perfect squares, so that's x plus 7, x minus 7. X squared and 25 are both perfect squares, so that's x plus 5, x minus 5. X minus 5's cancel, x plus 7's cancel. So you actually end up with x minus 7 squared over x plus 5 squared, because you have x minus 7 twice and x plus 5 twice. For my four excluded values, I have x plus 7, x plus 5, x plus 7, x plus 5, x minus 5, and then remember this was in the denominator before, so, or sorry, this was the top. I have to worry about this also. X plus 7, x minus 7. I already have x plus 7, so I need x minus 7. So this is x equals negative 7, this is x equals negative 5, this is x equals 5, this is x equals 7. So negative 7, negative 5, 5, 7. Alright, HRW. My answer was x minus 7 squared, x plus 5 squared. Excluded values are negative 7, negative 5, 5, 7. Basically the exact same problem. I'll skip it, let you guys do that one on your own. Again, basically the exact same problem, no twists on any of those, and then you've got your three standard word problems. So guys, if you need any additional help with this, as always, please feel free to let me know. I'm always happy to help, but that should be most of what you need to give you assistance with 4.9 multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Good luck, Wildcats.